the Atlanta Hawks suck? Will they be terrible going forward? And the short, simple answer to that is no, they will not. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why I am very hopeful about the Atlanta Hawks and the progress that they've made in this offseason. Now, this all spurs from the idea that the fact that the law, is Vegas. Vegas recently released their over-under win totals for the Atlanta Hawks next year. And it was at a smoking low 35.5 wins. Now, for those who don't watch the Atlanta Hawks, previously last year, in an injury-plagued year last year, where half the team didn't play, they won 36 games. So Vegas is telling us that the Atlanta Hawks, or they think the Atlanta Hawks will be worse than they will be this year. The year that they won, or they got the number 1 overall pick. Now, to that I say, no way, Jose. The Atlanta Hawks are better than a lot of people think. On paper, they may have lost a 22-point scorer and a quote-unquote 13-point scorer, but he played half the games, and he was up and down. But I think Vegas is not accounting for the team dynamic and continuity that these recent moves that Landry Fields have made, and the impact that those will have on the team going forward. Maybe on paper, we lost 35 points of production, but we gained so much more, and I'm going to highlight this. Now, for those who looking, am I telling you the Atlanta Hawks will be better than they were last year? And why am I telling you, I'm going ahead and put it out right now, the Atlanta Hawks will have the 5th or best seed in the playoffs this year? Number one reason, they were able to trade Deonte Murray. I think that move, I know a lot of people didn't like the move, but that will be one of the most underrated moves in Atlanta Hawks history, because it allows Trae Young to, number one, be Trae Young. 2, it allows the experiment that they tried to be done, and so both parties can move on. And 3, it allows your younger, talented players the ability to step up and be the players that they're supposed to be. Now, if you know anything about the Atlanta Hawks last year, they were virtually worse when Trae Young and Deonte Murray were on the court, rather than if Trae Young was on the court by himself or Deonte Murray was on the court by himself. And I want to let you know on a secret, when Trae Young was on the court by himself, but without the 2 guards, he was plus 2.5 points better than when it was Deonte Murray or them together. Now, you could say neither here nor there about that, but that's just facts. And I think this is important going forward, because the Atlanta Hawks are doubling down on an all-star caliber player who is arguably the 3rd best point guard in the East. That's all I'm saying. Now, we did lose 22 points from Deonte Murray, but I think there's a couple people who can take steps up and kind of absorb that gap that we're going to miss. Number one, I think Zachary Richichet can be a 10 to 12 point average player playing the 2 or 3. Second reason, I think DeAndre Hunter can raise his points average by 4 to 6 points next year. And then last but not least, I think Jalen Johnson can take his game to another level. Maybe bump his points up 6 to 8 points. And if you can do all of this, you can make Jalen Johnson a 22-point guy, 22 to 24-point guy. You can make DeAndre Hunter a 20 to 22-point guy, and you have 10 points out of Richichet. I think you not only absorb that point scoring that you're missing in Deonte Murray, but you're allowing your young players, your young talented players, to be significantly better and play the roles that they were designed and destined to play in the system. Second reason why I think the Atlanta Hawks will be significantly better than they are on paper is that they will be playing significantly better defense. If there's one thing we know about the Atlanta Hawks, And their crutch last year, it was them giving up points to teams, thus causing them to lose. A lot of games the Atlanta Hawks were scoring 120, 130, 140 points, but they were giving up 140, 150, 160 points. And last year, the Atlanta Hawks were 28th in the league, giving up 121 points per game. That's just on average. That's not a particular game. That's not the highest points they've given up. But on average, they give up 121 points per game. Now, where the team will be better and why I think the team will be that 5th playoff spot is that they brought in 2 to 3 pieces who can help them on the defensive end and help them become a better and more efficient defensive team. Like I said, the Atlanta Hawks gave up 121 points per game. If they're able to get down to that 114 and 115 range, that will put them in the middle of the league. And I guarantee that will give them 4 or 5 or maybe 6 wins more than they had last year. Now, key players that will help them bring down that will help them with defense and help bring down that defensive points allowed average is number 1, Dyson Daniels, who people have seen recently what he's done to Steph Curry in the Olympics, but seeing what he's done around the league playing defense. You also have Zachary Richichet, 6'10". You also have DeAndre Hunter, who's 6'9" on the team. You also have Jalen Johnson, who's 6'8", 6'9" on the team. You also have Onyeka, the Giannis stopper. And if you're able to not only play all those guys together, surround them around Trae Young, but switch and roll and talk, your team will get significantly better on defense, and I guarantee it will give you 5, 6, 7 games better in regards to your win percentage than you did last year by giving up 127 points. That's all I'm saying. Third reason why I think the Atlanta Hawks don't suck, and they will be significantly better than they were last year, and they will get that 5th, at least that 5th spot in the East. Number 1, the East is down still. People think that the East is this juggernaut. I know Boston won, but they're Boston. Let's just take Boston out of it. The Knicks have gotten better. I'll give you that. And maybe Philadelphia has gotten better. Those are the 3 teams that I would say right now are significantly better than the Hawks. Other than those 3 teams, name another Eastern Conference team that's made a move that was more significant than the Atlanta Hawks trading Deonte Murray and building around Trae Young. Cleveland re-signed their guy, but that's it. People are wondering, is Mobley going to play? Is Jared Allen going to play? Are they going to get rid of those guys? Who knows? Brooklyn lost their best player, and they're trying to restart. Orlando ended up having to pay one of their guys, and that's going to have implications for 2, 3, 4 years from now. Who else? Miami did nothing. Who else? And that's all. Indiana really did nothing. And that's all I'm saying. The Atlanta Hawks can take a step forward while other teams around them aren't really doing too much. Yes, you have your 3 or 4 teams at the top, but this is why I believe the Atlanta Hawks can sneak in at that 5th seed and really wreak havoc. Because the last time they went to the playoffs, they allowed Trae Young to be the Trae Young he is, and we all know him to be. And they surrounded him with guys who can shoot and defend like they did this year. Now, moves I think the Atlanta Hawks need to make going forward just so they can submit them and try to make a playoff push. Number 1, they need to get one more shot creator. Spencer Dinwiddie, Tyus Jones, even Jay Crowder. They need to find guys who can make shots and don't rely on Trae Young to make shots. Second, they need to figure out what they're going to do with their post. I think if you're going to figure that out, keep Onyeka, get Clint Capella, trade him, get a first round pick, and do it like that. Onyeka can flip, he can switch, he can guard 3 through 5. And personally, I like Clint, But get off of him. He's on an expiring contract. Get a first-round pick to build for next year. Maybe your center for the future is in that draft class. But this notion that the Atlanta Hawks are a 35-loss team is really ridiculous. And I think they're significantly better than people are giving them credit to be. And I will say this one thing. This team reminds me of the Knicks, New York Knicks from 2 years ago. Before the OG Anunoby, before the Mikal Bridges team. And the Knicks that year were the 5th best seed in the playoffs. And they've built, and they've continued to build, and they've continued to build. And I think the Atlanta Hawks are in a similar position. They have a really good point guard. They're building long, lengthy, athletic wings around him. And then who says within 2 years they'll acquire, or one talented piece will come in and want to play with this team. But the Atlanta Hawks are better than 35 wins. I can guarantee you that. And if you're a betting man, or if you want to win some money, bet the over on that all day. Because the Atlanta Hawks are building something with a culture, and the culture is very, 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 very bright going forward. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And if you want to see more videos like this, check this one out right here. And like always, peace.